Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Please let's confirm if we can hear me. I just need a thumbs up or anything like that in the chat. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome you to this session of our HSE webinar. Thank you so much, Bayoli. All right, thank you. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me. So once again, I want to welcome you to our HSE webinar. My name is Chineye Okoye-Bob. I'm a training administrator with Lonadek Global Services. I'm sure that by the end of this session, we'll be very enlightened and we'll pick one or two things that would change our mindsets and concepts about what HSE is and how it can be a business advantage. All right, so I'm going to just quickly share my screen. I'll briefly introduce Lonadek, what we do, who we are, before we dive into the session. A moment, please. Okay, so we'll just go right into it. So for the purpose of productivity and value, we are going to be reading our housekeeping webinar rules, just so that we all get maximum value for the training. It's for our benefit for the duration of this training. So I'm just going to boost through it briefly. Kindly note that this webinar is being recorded. At the end of the session, the recorded webinar will be sent to us via email. All participants will be muted during the webinar to avoid distractions. We want everyone to get maximum value for this training. So we'll be muted, and during the questions and answer period, of course, you can always drop your questions, your comments on the chat box. Kindly note that there'll be polls during the course of this webinar. When it is up, please ensure to participate. We want this to be as interactive as possible. I will be using Slido for this session, so just engage it, please, when it comes up. Questions are welcome. Please click the Q&A icon and type in your questions. We want to see your questions, we want to see your comments as this session goes on so that it's interactive and engaging for everybody. If you have a question, please state your name and to whom you're addressing the questions. Please be clear and concise. Okay, kindly note that you'll be getting the recording as stated earlier and the slides for the webinar afterwards. Once again, if there's a lag in the presentation, please refresh, or like I always advise, you can always log out and log back in, and I'm sure the instructions will be cleared immediately. So we would move on. Okay, so a brief introduction on who we are, Lonadek Global Services. We are a multi-award winning, woman-owned ISO 9001 2015 certified engineering technology and innovation solutions company. We've been around since 1991. This is our 34th year, to be precise. We've empowered STEM tech talents to deliver state-of-the-art technologies and OEM solutions. We have operations in Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and even now we are expanding to the United States. And Lonadek is committed to developing capacity, capability, and competence for improved performance in STEM-focused sectors of the economy. We aim to identify, to develop, to engage talents while leveraging technology to increase efficiency, productivity, and of course, profitability. I'm sure you can see from my slides, we've trained over 5,000 engineers, over 100,000 STEM talents, and over 10,000 tech talents. So we've been around for quite a while, delivering quality human capacity development initiatives and interventions. So we'll go straight to our partners and our key clients. We've worked with a plethora of big brands in the oil and gas sector, in manufacturing, in construction. So I'm just going to mention a few here. So some of our key clients are Accenture, Shell, Mobile, Saipem, Netco, to mention but a few. And then our partners, of course, we can't do without them. We have Aviva, we have the Bentley Systems, we have the Autodesk, we have the Energy Institute, we have the ILM, the Institute of Leadership and Management. We've even worked with LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much. I see your hand claps and we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll go on now. So connecting with us, of course, we want to hear from you. We want you to chat us up on our social media handles. We are on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, all at Lonadek Inc. all of them at Lonadek Inc. Also, we want you to speak with us if you have inquiries. We'd like to hear from you. You can always send us email via training@lonadek.com or check our website out on www.lonadek.com or give us a call. We'd like to hear from you on 0906 283 2077. Once again, that's 0906 283 2077. We'd like to hear from you, please. So give us a call or send us an email or chat up or engage with us on our social media handles. We'll be excited to hear from you. So finally, we'll be going to our speaker for today, Mr. Latif Podri. He comes with a wealth of experience in the HSE sector as well as the QMS sector as well. He's an ISPON certified trainer. He's a HSE officer for Lonadek Global Services. He's a certified document control practitioner. He's a certified ISO 9001 lead internal auditor. He's a certified Salesforce administrator, a Salesforce developer, Microsoft professional, SharePoint, Power BI, Power Automate, Azure. He's also a project management professional, as well as a certified professional in learning and performance. So you see that you have a treat this afternoon. Thank you so much for your hearts and your hand claps. It's going to be an awesome session this afternoon. And I would employ us to please ask as many questions as you have. We want to hear from you. We are here to learn. We're here to unlearn some concepts that we might have had before. And of course, we're here to acquire new knowledge. So I would advise us to please engage as much as possible, pay as much attention as you can so that you can gain as much as you can from this webinar. We are so excited to have you here. Okay, once again, my name is Chine Okoye-Bob, and I'll be your moderator this afternoon. So I'll be passing it off to Mr. Latif now to kick off the webinar proper. Please remember, the Slido, our engagement tool for today is Slido. So please, once it comes up for each of the sessions that we'll be having, please engage with it. We want to see your comments, we want to see your contributions, and make this a very interactive session for everybody. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. I can see the hand claps. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Latif, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Shine, for the introduction. And I want to welcome you all to this very important webinar. I know this is going to be very, very interesting, and we are looking forward to further engaging and ensuring that we work together to move the HSC ecosystem forward. All right, so Chineye has been able to say a brief about me, and I hope today's webinar will go a long way in giving us a sense of direction on how things are presently and where we are going. Okay, so without further ado, I will just share my screen. And if you do have any question, like Chine said, you can drop that in the chat box. She will attend to that, and when there is time for question and answer, we can take those questions. But if you think those questions are very, very important, as we go along with the webinar, you need to say something. Please, you can raise up your hand, and she will attend to that also, and we can treat those questions. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. All right, thank you very much. So the webinar for today, we have it in two parts. All right, because the current practice of HSE in Nigeria is what we'll be looking at in the first part, and how people or companies are actually ensuring that they transcend or move towards the second part of our webinar today, which is AI and safety. All right. So, like I said at the beginning, let us be as interactive as possible. And if there is any need for questions, please let us know, because we are here to serve you. And your comments and feedbacks are very, very important to us. Like she said, Lonadek has been in existence for 34 years counting. And it is the improvement from comments and feedbacks that we get from people like you that ensures that things are done the right way. Because nothing is cast in stone, so we always improve and ensure that we always get the maximum satisfaction that you need to get. All right. So we'll be looking at the content for this webinar. We have the overview, we have the webinar objectives. We'll be looking at a brief history of HSE, safety from the company's view, safety, the cost of neglect and economic impact. We'll also be looking at some benefits of the safety. And the last part, which is the part two that I talked about, is the AI and HSE. All right. So I'm very, very excited to present this session. And your feedback, like I said, is very, very important to me and to the company. All right. So in this webinar, we'll challenge a long-standing mindset that safety is just a cost. Okay. So to many companies, this has always been the mindset or the norm. Where it is just let us just do it. It's not something we have to, let's just fulfill all righteousness and just do it. That is no more safety in the 21st century. That has been the mindset long before now. So we'll be exploring how companies prioritize HXE and actually believe better performance, higher profitability, and stronger investor confidence. Also, we'll also be seeing how emerging tools like artificial intelligence and digital dashboards are redefining the future of safety management. All right, so that will be on the part two. So I want you to stay tuned to the end of this webinar because it's going to be very, very interactive and interesting. And we'll be doing some hands-on practical on how things are done using AI or some AI tools to actually see how we can implement some of these ideas. Also, by the end, you will walk away with a practical way to turn compliance into capability and capability into opportunity. Remember, the mindset is just that it's the cost. All right. So the objective for this HSC webinar is to show that strong safety culture builds efficiency, productivity, leverage, profitability, strong recognition, and not bureaucracy, project delays and penalties. All right. Another objective here is to connect HSE compliance to business growth, contracts, and brand trust, and to explore how AI can automate compliance and personalized training. Okay, so those are the objectives for this webinar. So we'll get into the webinar proper, and it is right for us to go through where HSE started from. And so what we have on our screen right now is the HSE roadmap. Okay, so as you can see here, the number one is talking about pre 1980, where you have HSC awareness and impact was very, very minimal. Okay, you will not compare Nigeria in the 1980s, 1970s to IOCs overseas, like the IOCs of this world, like ExxonMobil, like Chevron and the rest, Shell of this world, that have been in the practice for a very, very longer time than Nigeria. Okay, so HSE awareness around this time was very, very minimal. Fast forward from 1980 to 1990, and you have establishment of supervisory agencies like the DPR. This coincided with the oil boom and industrial revolution that led to increase in workplace accidents. So I hope you are trying to take note of where we are coming from. So by the time we get to some key areas, you'll be able to understand better. Okay, so the third part of it here is the Factory Act of 1990. and that was an update of a 1958 law for safety regulation and compliance. Now, you can see that as things were getting bigger, people were coming in into the country and investing and doing a whole lot of very high risk jobs. Accidents were beginning to show up, and people didn't really know what next to do. Government, as a supervisory body, needed to have some measures in place, and they knew the only way of going about that is having the right agencies that can do supervisory enforcement on all these uh, uh, things that are going on around or the workplace. Okay, so there was a 1958 law which was updated as the Factory Act of 1990. So you fast forward to the early 2000. Now you see, I'm not sure we have any company in Nigeria now that is not uh, have one ISO certification or the other. The most common one, and probably the most rigorous one, is the ISO 9001 2015. All right. So for every company you enter, they proudly put it at probably at when you get into the company so that you can see it, because now they know the importance of having such ISO standards as one of the assets that they need to have. All right. So this gives rise to formal recognition of HSE in line with IOC standard. All right. Like I said, IOCs they know how to do these things. They've been doing it for a very, very long time. But because we are just catching up, we are right there at the top right now compared to some other African countries. I've been at webinars where uh, people from other countries, West African countries, East African countries coming into Nigeria. There was one recently at a hotel, and you have people coming in, representative of governments coming in to market their oil reserves, okay? And they are looking at Nigeria as the big brother, and because we have been able to upscale and been able to expand and do so many things, and they are just starting. All right, there are so many countries now that just developed oil. You can never compare those kind of countries to Nigeria that have been doing it for quite some time. All right, so ISO standards in the early 2000s was something most companies wanted to have. Now we fast forward to 2010, which we ensure that we have full compliance. That is establishment of both local and international bodies of certification, regulatory and supervisory bodies. All right, so that is just a brief on how HSE has transformed in Nigeria and is still transforming, because now we are entering into the age of digital age, they call it, and we are using so many digital assets to ensure that our operations remain optimal, our productivity is very, very high, and the way we do things are not just the way we do things before. All right, so if you are to be an HSE officer in the 1990s and now, there are so many different things that have been able to inculcate into the practice now, that you need to probably learn more. Okay, so we've talked about the HSE roadmap. All right, so it's very, very important that we look at. I talked about the agencies that were created, all right, and the time they were created, because this is very, very important, because we'll be seeing some of these agencies as we go along. All right, so we have agencies like NASFRA, um, that enforces environmental laws, pollution control, sustainable development regulations nationwide. Okay, you agree with me now that if you go to the Niger Delta, People staying in Lagos might not know what pollution control is. When you say pollution control, they will just be looking at you as if you are speaking one big grammar. But go to the Niger Delta and you will know the importance of having a government agency that ensures that pollution control is in check. So you cannot, as an IOC or a local oil and gas company, go into the Niger Delta and just do whatever you want. You have to comply with most of these acts, or there are agencies there to ensure that these things are done the right way. All right, so this was created in 2007, and we've had major oil spills all over Nigeria, and we are still having oil spills all over Nigeria. People in the Niger Delta are still complaining of they can't fish or they can't get things done. Things they used to do back then, they cannot do that right now. All right, so you have an agency of government, which is the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency. So you can see 2006, 2007, and you can see the roadmap from where HSE is coming from. So government saw that there was need for control, and as things were coming up, they were setting up more agencies as things were expanding. All right. So you also have NAFDAC. You have occupational safety and health for factories. You have the petroleum operations. There is no, how will I put it now? You cannot function as a company in Nigeria in the oil and gas sector without an NUPLC permit. Okay? NUPLC permit now called DPR permits. You just cannot function. You cannot even get a contract if we don't have an NUPLC permit, because nobody wants to do business with a company that is not compliant, because they want to see that you actually know what you are doing. All right. And before a permit is issued to you by DPR, you must have gone through some rigorous process. So you can see how important the certifications that have been able to put in place by government to ensure that control is in place have been able to do so many things. All right. The present government of Nigeria, led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was able to have, I think the Petroleum Industrial Act was done in 2021, but the full implementation of that act has actually been carried out by this present government. I think the Buhari government and some other governments were able to come up with the act itself. But you can see how that has transformed and opened up investment into the country. So we are looking at the importance or the existence of all these agencies, and there's so many other ones. Okay, you also have NMDPRA. That is another side of it, just like DPR. So all these agencies, as you can see on my screen, very, very important agencies: NIMASA, NEMA, NICTF, SON, SON, COREN. All these are agencies that are very, very vital as far as HSE is concerned and operations of company in Nigeria is concerned. So you cannot, as a company, do without them. All right, so there are so many more, but because of time, we'll just skip that. All right, so at this junction, I will just also joining us. All right, so at this junction, I would like to have make it a bit interactive, because I think I've been speaking for about 5 or so minutes. So I will want to hear what safety is it to you. Maybe 1 or 2 persons, maybe the moderator can give us the ground for 1 or 2 persons to speak. What does safety mean to you? because we want to have a feel of what you are able to assimilate or what you understand, so that whatever we're saying does not is not, you have to understand your audience, they say, as a facilitator. So we want to know where you are coming from and know what you have in mind. So if we can have, okay, so I will not play this again because that's what the recording is all about. So we can have, okay, all right. So we can go ahead.
All right,
One or
Mr.
two
Latif.
persons.
All right, Mr. Latif, thank you. Please, if you have any, if you want to respond to what Mr. Latif just said, please drop your contributions on the comment section, please, and we'll read that out for everybody to hear. So please, what does safety mean to you? What does HSE mean to you? We'd really like to get your perspectives on this. So just drop us what you think HSE is or what safety means to you. Okay, so I'm guessing, okay, thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. We have a few contributions here. So we have Mr. Philip Etim. He says, safety is a state of being free from harm or danger. Awesome. We have from Olubumi, they say HSE is a way of life. Okay, we have from Kenneth here. It says HSE equals protect people plus prevent accidents plus preserve the environment. Thank you so much for your contributions. And lastly, we have from Mr. David Timothy. He says it's simply the protection of people, property, and the environment from danger and illness. Yes. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for the contributions. I can still, it's still coming in, but we'll just continue now. We just wanted to see what HSE, what safety means to us. And thank you so much for your contributions. Okay, Mr. Latif, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I can go back to the presentation. All right. So thank you very much for all your contributions. They are very, very wonderful contributions. And I think I have an insight now into the audience. All right. Okay. So the next part of our webinar here, or this at this junction, is a simple poll. What, in your opinion, is the biggest hindrance to HSE in Nigeria? All right, so you have the QR code at the left-hand part of the screen. You can just scan that QR code, and once you pick your choice or your answers, we can see on the screen right away what the results are. All right, so we'll give like 2-3 minutes for that, so that people can actually vote, because I think we have more than 50 or 60 persons running into hundreds on this particular call. Okay, so you scan the QR code, and or you go to slido.com and type in the number you can see on your screen. All right. So this is an active poll. Once you start voting, we can see the results right away. All right. So we expect everyone to participate. What, in your opinion, is the biggest hindrance to HSC in Nigeria? Number one is inadequate laws or policies. Number two is inadequate training by employees. Number three is kickbacks. Number four is inadequate laws and okay. I think the results have started coming in. All right. Okay. All right, all right. Thank you very much for participating. It's very interesting, and I'm happy to know that we have people on the call who are listening attentively to what we're saying. And the whole essence is to enlighten everyone and to let you know the work Lonadek is doing as far as HSC is concerned in this part of the world. All right, so thank you very much. keep the poll going and keep the results coming in. All right, so we still have so many that needs to. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, all right. So, like I was saying, because if we don't get this right, we all come from different backgrounds, for example, and our mindset after leaving this webinar is let's continue to do the right thing. As an HSC officer, you have to ensure that play your part and ensuring that others do the right thing. Okay, because now, if as an HSC officer, how you approach people or how you talk to people or how you carry out your actions will determine a lot into how the response you get from others. Okay, so please keep the results coming in. As at this point in time, we only have I think 11 responses. I expect to see more, considering the number of people that we have on this platform. Okay, so we'll give 1 minute more for those that are yet to participate in this poll. All right, so keep it coming. So in number one place at this right point right now is inadequate supervisory enforcement. Hmm. Inadequate supervisory enforcement. And you will see the reason why AI, artificial intelligence, can take that away without even I don't know how to say it, because supervisory enforcement, all right, means somebody needs to be on ground to ensure that things are done the right way. Don't go that way. There is okay, you want to work, where is your permit to work? You want to do this, where is the right all these things are, somebody has to, there was always an human interaction. You So inadequate supervisory enforcement, both at the federal, state, and company-wide level, can be taken care of by AI. I can tell you that for free. All right. So number two is inadequate training by employees. That is also very, very interesting, because one of the reasons why we are having this webinar is to create the awareness about what we do. And you, as an HSE officer or an aspiring HSE officer, you need to, once you know what you are up to, then it is compulsory, or you have to find a way of ensuring that your employees make the right investment to get you trained. All right. So we have number three, inadequate laws or policies. Number four is company leadership negligence. Number five, kickbacks. That's interesting. Kickbacks. Okay. Well, because uh, supervisory agencies can sometimes, they can be funny when they go into some of these companies. All right. So thank you very much. As at this moment, we have about 20 persons that have voted. And number one here is inadequate supervisory enforcement. Number two is inadequate training. Number three here is inadequate laws or policies. Number four is company leadership negligence. And number five is kickbacks. So thank you very much for the feedback. I will take that also into whatever we do in future, because we do relate with state governments and federal governments at different levels, maybe in terms of coming up with laws and coming up with things like that, or coming up with manuals for HSE in line with what ISPON is also doing out there. Okay, so thank you very much. We can now move to another part of it. Thank you all for all that voted in the last poll. All right, so we've looked at where safety is coming from. And we said at the beginning that people still think that safety is a cost. Now, If it is a cost to the company, they just feel I have to pay some amount of money to Sun, or I have to pay some amount of money to DPR to get a permit. What is the essence? But what if you don't pay? What are the cost of neglect or the economic impact, or how it can directly affect your company? Remember, the first part of this webinar is about transforming or taking advantage or moving or transitioning into something better rather than looking at HSE as a cost. All right, so you have over 2.8 million deaths yearly due to preventable work hazards. So whatever I'm giving you here are verifiable facts. You can check them anywhere. So unsafe acts creates losses in trust, productivity, and reputation. And in Nigeria, safety gaps leads to costly operational disruptions. The ILO estimates that 5 to 6 trillion lost annually from unsafe practices. Okay, neglecting safety leads to fatalities, lawsuits, and brand erosion. You will see all that as we go along. I hope we have enough time to cover all this. So each accident causes investor withdrawal and regulatory tightening. Okay, so no company wants to lose an investor or lose a customer because of your HSE practices. Okay, even companies now, if you want to onboard a smaller company, like all these ND Westerns of this world that are buying assets of all these IOCs up and down, if they want to work with other smaller companies, they send you a list of their HSE requirements, and you will see so many questions. Are you compliant in this? Are you compliant in that? Do you have incident logs? Do you have so many requirements that you need to fill, because they know if they onboard you as a vendor and you don't have the required HSE requirement, then you can affect their own job. And when you affect their own job, they would lose a lot of money. They have much to lose than you probably just supplying them, I don't want to call it biscuits. Okay? So you have loss of public confidence can cripple corporate growth. Uh, so NSITF also alone processes thousands of workplace injuries and so on and so forth. So these are the costs that can be associated with coming up or neglecting HSC. Okay, so for when I do webinars like this, I always want to do something that people can always remember. I have just read out so many things, and probably in the next 5-10 minutes, if I ask people to recollect or say it again, you might be finding. But I want you to watch some set of videos and see what the absence or lack of HSE compliance can cause to a company. All right. Okay. So this is a bridge collapse incident. A company in Lagos is actually giving a contract to build a bridge. I'll play it again. A company in Lagos is actually giving a contract to construct a bridge. Now, for whatever reason, this bridge collapsed while the bridge was being constructed. And you can see people here, all right? You can see scaffolders, you can see people are up there and people down here still working on the bridge as at the time the bridge is going down. And I can bet you that these people, they are gone, because this thing fell on them, and you can imagine the amount of concrete, the size of these things coming upon somebody. So I don't want to let people speak again, because it might take
some time from what we are doing. But if you are to give, if you are Lagos state government, for example, you are the governor, and something like this happens to a contractor that you gave a job to, will you give the job back to this contractor? It's not possible. So you've lost your recognition, you've lost contract, you will lose so many things if you don't put things in place as an HSE officer or be compliant as an HSE company. All right, so let's play that again. You can see that going down and people are already dead. All right, we move to the next one. This is also another one. Let me play that for you also. This is a bridge that was being constructed. Unfortunately, it went down while still under construction. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory said something back, but let's not go into that. Okay, now coming home and going into where these things occur almost every day. Those in the Niger Delta, they know what they are going through. And HSE negligence can be on part of a company or can be on a part of the government. If you have a nonchalant attitude government that does not take the lives and properties of its citizens as compulsory or as something important, then you will find out what it is. So I must tell you what you're about to watch. You have some very, very graphic images here. So this is a pipeline incident that occurred as a result of negligence from HSE. Okay, I can fast forward this so because of time. Over 800 lives were lost. Look at how people were burnt. Okay, over 800 lives were lost, and because the federal government did not respond, these are volunteers that came in and said they want to pick up the remains of the dead bodies. Okay, you can find it anywhere. So this is not something I concocted. So it is from a major. Okay, so it's a mission. Okay, let's hear.
Recover the corpses that were lost as a result of the fire incident.
Okay, so I didn't want to show that before, but that has shown. That is NNPC. That is NNPC of those days. I'm not sure you can have that kind of thing repeat itself again in this type of NNPC. That we are looking at doubling our production, our oil production level output to the best we can, so that we can get as much money for in dollars. So you don't let things like this just happen
after corpses are still being burnt.
Okay.
The government has not set up an inquiry to investigate what led to this fire, what led to the explosion that has consumed over 800 people, defenseless poor people of the Niger Delta who are sitting on this wealth. In other societies, there would have been a thorough investigation, but everybody has woken up and said,
okay, so there will have been a thorough investigation. Now, when things happen, it is a gap. Then you must have some level of investigation done, and then you must have some level of corrective actions to ensure that things like that never happen again. All right, so we'll move to the last one video here. This is a video of BP, an oil rig. If you work offshore, you will know what I'm talking about. There is nowhere to run when things like this happen. Okay, so
time for a look at this day in history, and
we'll just take it because I think the video is a bit about 2 minutes.
Rig sank in the Gulf of Mexico.
All right,
The
so
incident began the day before when an uncontrolled rush of oil and gas surged out of BP's Macondo well, causing that drill pipe to buckle, ultimately preventing a blowout preventer from kicking in and sealing that well whole. The oil and gas ignited and the rig exploded, killing 11 people and initially leaving a sheen of oil on the water surface 1 mile wide and 5 miles long, a sheen that only got worse. For the next 3 months, 87 days to be exact, all eyes were on this underwater spill cam that streamed images of oil streaming out of that failed well. Transocean and BP, which at least the floating rig, tried to use remote operated vehicles to shut the valves on the seafloor, but ultimately they couldn't staunch the blaze. A deep water crisis.
okay, so I'm trying to fast forward this to see the impacts of what this has cost. Now let's look at this. You have 25,000 jobs lost. You have $2.3 billion in industry output. You have 1.2 billion in total value. You also have
25,000 jobs, $2.3 billion in industry output,
okay,
$1.2 billion in total value added, $700 million in labor income, and $380 million in federal tax and local tax. In addition,
okay, so you have also this 7.8 billion to victims. All right. So if you are an HSE officer and your job is to protect the rig, and you let things happen and the company is paying $7.8 billion to victims, do you think you will ever find a job again as an HSE officer? That means you can just forget that career and move to something else. All right? So it is very, very important that even while we are here, you don't know where you will get to. Responsibility as an HSE officer is very, very important. I have worked on the biggest fertilizer plant and the biggest refinery ever built in this part of the world. And I have seen firsthand how things are done properly. When I say properly, things are done properly. I'm not talking about when you give your contracts to some names I don't want to mention. They can be very, very fast, but they cut corners very, very fast also.
Sorry, time.
Okay, so why safety? So this is looking at the benefits of why there is need for safety. Because we've talked about things that can happen, HSE promotes responsible use of natural resources and reduce pollution, waste and emissions, building corporate reputation and trust. Okay, is also a legal and regulatory compliance standard. You also have driving innovation and continuous improvement. So I'm just trying to be as fast as possible so that we can cover some of these things we have. Now, this is another very important aspect that we need to pay attention to. This might not be your responsibility as at this time, but it is something that will ring in your head that you attended the webinar and you saw what HSE can cause if it is neglected. Because the point I am trying to say here is you don't know where you will find yourself. I don't know, for one, your level or your designation where you are right now, but you know where you are. Okay, in the oil and gas sector, there was Bonga oil spill in 2011, and there was a $3.6 billion fine. Okay, for Chevron, there was a Funiwa oil and rig fire spill, and there was a $3 billion fine. For ExxonMobil, you have oil spilling affecting Ibeno and coastal communities. That's about $81 billion in compensation. These are not things I concocted. You can find out anywhere. All right. You also have Chevron, Aji Mobil, and others. 22 billion in fines for gas flaring. Gas flaring. If you keep those gas, you can sell them. Why would you need to flare them? And government is now saying if you flare the gas, that means we are depriving the nation of resources. That means you have to pay a fine. That is what it means. So we'll look at because we've been seeing the effects of negligence, but later we'll see Because what at the end of the day, what we are trying to say here is transforming from the mindset of being a cost to this mindset of being an advantage. So if you have it in place, what do you get? But what presently we are looking at, if you don't have it in place, or when things like this occur, what are the kind of fines you pay? That's what we are looking at. All right. So ExxonMobil, 1.4 billion. CIPCO, your PPMC, $62 million or 62 million naira fine. You have Arab contractors for blasting, because this is not limited to oil and gas. Okay. Unsafe quarry, their operations were suspended. Imagine setting up a company and you are going against HSE and your company was suspended. Yeah, you cannot imagine that. All right. So pharmaceuticals, you also have manufacturing, one happening in Ogun State. Okay, so I will give you an example based on this. I was part of the HSE team that visited a company some time back, and somebody died. A company recruited an SSC officer. The first day on the job, he was asked to do a job at work at height, and he fell from a very, very distance to the ground and died immediately. That was the first day on the job. No onboarding, nothing. You can imagine the company, what they went through, and I know what we put them through to ensure that they have compensation for the families of those that of the guy that died. So you as an HSE officer, when we have procedures in place, things that needs to be followed, you must ensure that they are followed to the letter. Somebody will not just walk into your company. If you walk into any IOCs, for example, whether you are a staff or not a staff, you will go through HSE onboarding. You will watch a short video of 5 or 6 minutes. There is no way two ways about it. You will not go into their premises and go and constitute nuisance or go and pollute, destroy the environment. In some companies, they don't allow for bottled water, and you are just coming in, you didn't go through any onboarding, HSE onboarding. You go in there and you are holding your bottled water and drinking, and you throw it anywhere. They count that as pollution. Okay? So you need to understand all these things. So this is distribution of HSE non-compliance by sector in Nigeria. So for oil and gas and major IOCs is very, very high, and so on and so forth. All right. So now we've looked at the cost. Let's look at productivity. So number one here is for MTN. All right. MTN and ISO 37301/2021. That is compliance management system. That is why they are regarded as one of the very first and one of the very best. We have JAD construction, multiple recognition certificates from Chevron for safety, man hours without recordable injury, ISO certificate. So they were awarded contracts on scrabbles, gas to liquid projects. For healthcare, you have SWIFA, that's pre-qualification by WHO, and they were able to get enough grants to continue their research. All right. We also have Total Energies. All right. So we talked about glass flaring the other time. I was at the conference sometime back, maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I listened to the manager from Total Energies, and she demonstrated how they use this innovative idea. You know, we talked about AI. We will look into that, called Ozia, about monitoring their methane emission. And if you translate that, so Total Energy has this zero routine gas flaring across all their upstream operations in Nigeria. Now, look at the value that can be derived. That's about $13 million. Okay, if you save gas volume stopped from routine flaring, All right. At $0.03, you can get $13 million per year. All right. So that is for Total Energies because of time. So we also have Chi Group. A strong HSE and quality system made Chi a reliable acquisition target. First by Coca-Cola and UAC. They saw that Chi, now you hear everywhere, you have Chi Vita, you have Chi Farms, you have Chi this, you have Chi that. They started expanding and the trust was there. Nigerians trust their product and people started buying because of what they've been able to put in place. Another very important one is Innocent. Okay, Innocent Motors. Now you see Innocent Motors and you can compare it to other kind of cars all around the world. And now they are doing CNG enabled buses in partnership with the federal government. They have proposed EVs and they have solar powered cars in upcoming. All right. So if you look at ISO certification, you have Airpeace. Now there is a time when Nigerian airlines could not even fly to some part of the world because we are a safety risk. But because of some things that have been put in place, Airpeace now can fly directly to some international airports because of the certification that they have that people have been able to trust. Like I said, I worked on the Dangote refinery and Dangote fertilizer for 6 years, and I know what it took Saipen to ensure that you have considerable level of HSE compliance in place. All right. I would have loved to show you my certificate for achieving or being part of the man hours that and nothing really happened on that site till we left. So we have Nestle. They won the best in food security and best in circular economy by Sarah's Africa Award, and that has increased their brand value and investor confidence. Okay, so at this moment we've talked for a while. We just like to jiggle a bit. So we have a quiz, and I don't know, from the approval that I got from the training administrators, I think the first 50 that gets this quiz correctly will get 10% discount on any HSE training they intend to have with Lonadek. Okay, so the faster you are, the better for you. All right, so what year reign did HSE become not just compliance obligation, but a competitive advantage from the viewpoint of Nigerian companies? What year reign? We talked about that at the beginning of. Okay, so you are getting there. We have 30 seconds, and the seconds are already counting. You have 10 seconds, 10 seconds left, 9 seconds. So this will show us who the winner is. All right, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Okay, let's see. So people got it right. All right, thank you very much. So we have early 2000, very, very correct. All right, so we'll see at the back end, there is a leaderboard, and we'll get across to you if you are lucky to be part of this. Okay, so all right, so I didn't want to show that before, but I can show that now. All right, so we have Leona Barango. Thank you very much. We have Temitayo Williams. We have Neche. We have Adedayo Ayomikun and Olagunju Olalekan. Okay, so Leona Barango took first place. Okay, so like I said, for any HSE trading that you want to have with us, you get a 10% discount. As for Leonard and others, so like I said, it was the faster you are, the leaderboard will show us. So thank you very much for participating. So at this junction, we'll entertain any question and answer, and I will leave it out to Chineye to coordinate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Latif. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the poll. So I see that some people answered on the chat. So would also consider that. No worries. I see some responses on the chat box. Yes, so I see responses from Sanusi, Saraki, Ubogu, Olabode. Yes, I see some responses on the chat. So yes, we'll factor all of that in when we're doing the collation in the back end. No worries. But would really appreciate it if we can have our answers on the Slido app. It makes it easier and it makes it more interactive. We're all able to see real time, as we're all participating. So please just, you could go to the Slido website and input the numbers, or you could just use your phone to join the QR code, to capture the QR code. And it's very fast, very simple, very seamless. But for now, yes, we would also factor in those that answers on the chat box. Okay, so do you have any questions for this session before we go to the next session quickly now? So please, you're going to see the Q&A bar at the bottom side of your screen. So please just drop your questions on the Q&A tab. Then we can quickly treat it before we go to the next session of the webinar. Remember, like we said in the beginning of our introduction to the webinar, we want it to be as interactive as possible. And we also want you to learn as much as you can from this webinar. That's why we're here, so that we can broaden our knowledge base as it pertains to HSE and safety. I mean, safety is everybody's prerogative, is everybody's concern. The object of HSE or safety knowledge is to be able to go home safe. At the end of the day, you go to work and you go home to meet your family safe and healthy. So HSE pertains and concerns everybody. Nobody's exempted from HSE knowledge, from safety knowledge. Okay, thank you, Mr. Sadiq. Okay, so please let's just collate the question so that Mr. Latif can treat it all at once. So please let's drop our questions. We have just a few more minutes before we go to the next session. Remember, nobody is an expert, quote and unquote. Even if you're a HSE enthusiast, you're not an HSE officer or professional, but we are all HSE enthusiasts. We are all safety enthusiasts, because everybody needs to be safe, whether you're at work or on the field. Okay, so let's drop our questions and we'll have it treated accordingly. So I'm waiting for more questions on the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. So you just see there, Q&A, and drop your question. So Mr. Latif, we have one. Please, what is the difference between unsafe? What's the difference between unsafe? I'm not sure I quite get this. So Mr. Sadiq, if you could drop this question again so that it's a bit clearer for us to address. I think I know where you're going, but I'm not quite sure. So I'd rather you drop it once more. So we'll just go to the other one. Please, I want to ask if there'll be certificates after this meeting. Yes, there'll be certificates of participation at the end of the webinar. Okay. So, okay, we have another question. Difference between unsafe and unact. Are you trying to say difference between unsafe act and inaction? It's not quite clear. So if you could just make that clear for us, and then we'll come back to it. Mr. Latif, I think we can go on to the next session. Please just help us to input your Q&A, your questions on the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. It's the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen, and then we can answer that. All right, Mr. Latif, we can go to the next session while we wait for the...
Okay, thank you very much, Chidima. We await more questions coming in. We also want to appreciate those that are giving us thumbs up for the little we've been able to do. All right, so like I said, we cannot be an HSE officer and rely on old ways of doing things. The second part of this presentation is looking at how artificial intelligence
can be used in different aspects of HSE to ensure productivity, to enhance performance, and to ensure that the level of operation is consistent. Because as you well know, maybe I can tell you that for free, we are an OEM partner to a major software software license people. All right, so we are a major partner to Aviva, and Aviva has been able to do a lot when it comes to, you will not tell me, you might not see it as HSC, but it will help your work as an HSC officer in the long run. You will talk about things like predictive maintenance, for example. You are able to know when things will happen. So you have routine operations that you should carry out. A predictive maintenance will be able to give you some kind of insight into all these things. We look at all that, then we now drill down and take one simple example. I've taken the liberty to create one of these scenarios that will be using our in-house tools to demonstrate. So let me just go back to sharing my screen. Please let me know once you have my screen up. All right, so we are looking at safety and AI, and it is important that we are able to give some background knowledge or give some background insight into what artificial intelligence is. Okay, so artificial intelligence refers to the development of computer systems capable of performing tasks that normally require human intelligence. And the question I hear all the time is, will artificial intelligence replace humans in various jobs? Well, I will not be the one to give you that kind of answer, all right? Because at the end of the day, to some level, it will. But you as an HSE officer, these are tools that still need to be maybe not 90%, maybe like 10% contribution from humans to make it work. So as an HSE officer, you must put yourself in that level where you are able to use these tools. That is where the world is going to. So if you are still an HSE officer that goes to site and still carry your record book and a biro, you're still walking up and down the field to actually, okay, there is a gap here. So what happened? You are still recording. When things have been we have other companies, you might be able to work in that place for a moment. But if you want to move forward and you want to move to higher companies, they will tell you, do you know how to use this? No. Do you know how to use that? No. Have you heard of SharePoint before? No. Do you have to use Power Automate? No. Can you use Power BI? I don't even know what Power BI is. As an HSE officer, you might think that is not your priority, but that is where the world is going to. That's what we are trying to say here. Okay, so you have problem solving and decision making. So in simpler terms, AI enables machines and systems to think, analyze, and act intelligently, adapting their response based on patterns and real-life information. So what you see at the bottom end is just the components of AI, which is machine learning, neural networks, NLP, which is natural language processing, and the last one there is robotics. That is not our concern as this webinar is concerned. So we'll leave that now. Okay, so moving forward, so I want to just make it, because like I said at the beginning, I want my webinars to be as interactive as possible, so we'll know where people are coming from. Some might not have used AI before, for whatever reason, as an HSE officer. So please scan the QR code on the screen. And do you believe that artificial intelligence can be trusted to make critical safety decisions without human oversight? Please, your response to this is very, very important now, because we want to see how people, the mindset of those that we are actually speaking with. You know, like I said, the audience determines what happens in anything. All right. So, okay. So, do you believe artificial intelligence can be trusted to make critical decisions without human oversight? Okay. So, so far, so I expect more to vote, because so far we only have about 8 or 10 that has voted. All right. So let's keep the votes coming. At least if we have up to 20, because the last time I checked, I think we have up to about 90 or going to 100 people on this call. So if you can have up to 20, that is still a fair call. So we know where we are and what we how we proceed with this. Okay, so no. Okay, so far so good. People are still saying no. You don't trust artificial intelligence to make critical safety decisions. All right. So when you say critical safety decision, what are you talking about? All right. Let's say, for example, you are home and you have an automated system in place that ensures that when the emission from a gas pipeline is reaching a particular level, that it can burst into flames, ensure that whatever is passing through that pipeline is shut down. That is a critical safety decision. We showed you Jesse pipeline where 800 people died. You might not know the actual cause of what happened there, but if you can have an automation system that can shut down a pipeline from going up in flames without human oversight or human interaction, people are already at home 12 o'clock in the midnight, and this system reads the temperature in the room and is able to take a critical decision and say, this, I'm not trying to make a case for that, but I'm just trying to give you an example. Okay? But people are still saying no. I would love to hear those that are saying no, why they are saying no. But I don't know if you still have enough time to take that. Okay. So 14 people, no is still the answer. All right. Okay. So thank you very much. So we also have another one. Do you think the use of AI in safety management could reduce workplace accidents more effectively than human supervision? Do you think use of AI in safety management could reduce workplace accidents more effectively than human supervision? Okay, I think that is the more straightforward. All right. So when I used to work on the fertilizer plant, you have maybe more than 200 HSE officers covering different areas. They need to be on ground almost 24/7 as long as an activity is taking place, and ensuring that whatever tools or whatever operation that is going on in that area has gone through the necessary process. Maybe it is the welding machine that you are using to weld, or it is all these things have to pass through a test. Maybe it is the ladder you are using to do your job at work at height. It must have been, they have their process in place. And if maybe or you are working in a confined space, for example, all these things are scenarios, and HSE officer will always be on ground to ensure things are in the right place. Okay, so so far so good. Yes, I think that is very, very good. That's straightforward. So without wasting more time, we'll look at the overview of safety and artificial intelligence. So integration of AI into health, safety, and environment represents a major leap in how organizations protect their people, assets, and planet. Traditional HSE practices, while effective, it is effective, yes, often rely on manual reporting, human observation, and reactive measures. I just gave you an instance of the pipeline being shut down by an automated system. But if it has to be human, we have to always react. We always react to issues, not being proactive. That is where predictive analysis takes place. And that is where Lonadek plays a major role, because we are a major partner to Aviva that is doing a whole lot in construction, a whole lot in oil and gas. You can sit down in your office and see your operations in a single dashboard. They call it UOC, Unified Operating Center. All right. If you go to places like Abu Dhabi, where they have gone very, very far, you will see a dashboard. It's like a television that is as long as whatever you can imagine. And every single item on the field working, as in, when I say item now, I mean equipment, doing some form of work, is actually being read, is giving back some kind of data, and these data are actually being monitored by somebody just sitting down and looking. Okay, so we are doing so many things, and we are also trying to see that how HSE can also be part of it. All right, so predictive maintenance, like I said, insight and automation. So we are key applications of AI in HSE. I've talked about that a lot today. Predictive safety analysis. AI models analyze historical accidents and near miss to identify patterns, predict future hazards, and guide preventive measures. I think somebody was trying to ask about unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. I don't know if that is the question. Okay, so you have unsafe acts in workplace. Okay, maybe it must have been documented that these are unsafe acts. These are things you do not do. If you do, can lead to accident. There is a difference when you have an incident, and there is a difference when you have an accident, and you have near miss. All these things are recorded by daily by HSE officers when they go to the field. Okay, and you will see how the one we are to do here, how an HSE manager can sit down in his office and with the dashboard look at what inspections is going on the field. It doesn't have to be there. Okay, you will try and explore that if time permits us. All right, so real-time hazard detection using cameras, sensors, and Internet of Things. AI systems can detect unsafe conditions such as gas leaks. All right, so you talked about unsafe condition. Unsafe act can lead to unsafe condition. Equipment overheating, human exposure. You also have automated compliance reporting. Okay, so people don't report by just carrying a paper in their folder and working. I don't know. When I used to work at Dantata and Sao, a subcontractor to Dangote, all right. You have for every engineer that needs to go to site on a particular day, what Dangote has done is every inch of that site that needs to be developed has been given a name and has been documented in the system. All you need to do is just type in that name. I am going to work in so and so urea plant, for example, urea plant section 1. The map or the engineering diagram for that place will be printed along with what is known as the request for inspection, RFI, that is taken to site. You now have engineers from Dangote and you have engineers from Dantata and Sao on that same site going through this, ensuring that whatever you are doing is in line with what they need. You now have an HSE officer. That is what I'm trying to drive at. An HSE officer that ensures that whatever is to be used on that operation has actually passed the documented practice. Okay? So maybe you are trying to do most of the times, the construction level, maybe they are doing blinding, they are doing all these. But when it comes to things like welding, things like doing confined space work, you have to go into a place where there is no air. All right, that's where what is called confined space, and there is little air in there, and you have to have some kind of the kind of protective wear. The PPE you wear is different from when you are outside and when you are going into that place. Maybe you also need to put on a gas chamber to ensure that if you are in there and the air is not sufficient, you can. So these are the things that need to be in place. An HSE officer will ensure that everything like that is in place before you go, or they even give you what is known as permit to work. Now, this is where AI comes in. AI will have been able to give you everything in advance, and you don't need to start doing all this manual reporting again. Behavioral safety monitoring, environmental monitoring, emergency response optimization. I'm just trying to see how we can kill the time. Right? So I mean, ensure that the time is well spent. So benefits of AI in HSE, you have proactive risk management, you have reduced human error, you also have improved efficiency and faster decision making. These are okay. Now, we've talked about what AI is. Now we need to know those that are doing the job now, or these major players in the IOCs and or in the oil industry, what are they using AI for? Because as an HSE officer, if you think Dangote is not using AI, then you are deceiving yourself. If you want to apply to Dangote as an HSE officer and they ask you what is artificial intelligence or what is AI, you say, I don't know, I've not heard it before. Or what is NLP? Is there NLP? I know. I think I don't. They know that you are not correct. All right. So you have Dangote Refinery. It uses AI algorithm and IoT sensors to predict equipment failures before they occur. That is predictive analysis. Okay. And so it does not, before now, what used to happen is you have people go to site. You have maybe like 10. You can have like 10 HSE officers going to a particular equipment. They want to see the maintenance history of that equipment, for example. Okay, all these things are old ways of doing things. What companies are now doing is known as asset tagging. They tag the assets, and from the office you can actually know what the history of that asset is, the maintenance history of that asset. You can know from the touch of a button. You don't have to start moving from one junction to another to know if something has been serviced or not. NLNG applies AI tools to track safety training and competency compliance across all staff. So if you think you walk into NLNG without knowing AI as an HSE officer, you better think again. Shell Nigeria predictive pipeline monitoring uses AI models to detect early signs of corrosion, pressure, loss, or leaks in pipelines. Okay. Total Energies uses computer vision for PPE compliance. When I used to work at Dangote, you have people who are not wearing boots to site. They are going to site without boots, without ADAT. ADAT is what that cap you put on so that they deploy AI cameras everywhere. They don't need to start chasing you up and down. All right. So Chevron, because of time, so I have so many here, examples of so many here, but because of time, we'll just limit it at that. Now, we are nearing the end of this, and we have AI application hands-on. I talked about all these things that is possible. So it is better if we are able to demonstrate one ourselves here. And the one we'll be using is called automated reminders and alerts. All right. So let's say, for example, there needs to be an operation in a particular site. Auto reminders can be sent out and alerts can be sent out to those that are involved, and ensure that things are done. An example is AI-enabled system at NLNG. They send out, they send out auto alerts when staff HSE trainings or medicals are due. You don't want a staff that is going to site and they fall down because they have one medical issue or something. So when their medicals are due, before their medicals are due, they get an alert on their phone that your medical is due in the next 2 days. You have to go to the clinic and ensure that you do your medicals. Or you have an HSE training that needs to be done. You must do that HSE training because the knowledge of that HSE training will guide you in your job. All these things are what automated reminders can do. So I won't read through all we have there. So because the practicals might take some time. Now, what are we using in our practicals? The tools we are using in our practicals, for some of us, you might have heard it before. For some of us, you might not. But I'm just trying to be as plain as possible. So you have Microsoft SharePoint. Now, Microsoft has what is known as an Office 365 tool. Under that Office 365 tool, you have so many tools that you can use for different things. Now, a SharePoint is a cloud-based environment where you can have your items or your data stored, and you can have metadata about that data. When I say metadata now, you can have sub-data about the data itself. All right, so that is the SharePoint. So I'm saying we'll use that as a backend. We also use Power Automate. Power Automate is a flow, or that is the main engine that will guide you. Once you know what the process is, you can use Power Automate to create the configuration, all right, and maybe give it a time. At so time, do this. You don't need to be there. It will generally just do it. Now, we'll be sending out an email, just like NLNG will do, send out an email to staff. Your medical is due. And we'll also be using Power BI for visual reporting. Okay? So our intent is to create a list of tasks, e.g. permit to work, create a flow that sends out the auto reminders on scheduled dates, maybe permit to work on a particular place, add new employees to the list, okay, and Power BI. All right. Okay, so this is my link. So let me quickly, Chinaya, please let me know if you still are seeing my screen. I just want to go off this and go to my. All right, so I'm accessing the SharePoint from my Outlook. Now, my Outlook, like I said, Office 365 tool, there you have my email from that also, and you have SharePoint, you have Power Automate. Now, these are Microsoft Office 365 tools. It is a different thing if you want to get an off-the-shelf application. But I am saying in Lonadek, we can also help you in doing some kind of process improvement. If your budget is still within, but if you want to go for an Aviva using a predictive maintenance, well, fine and good. Maybe IOCs, they come in here every time. Shina talked about our partners and our clients. We have so many of them. Shell, Chevron, they are big people. But if your company is still within the range and you say, can you help me improve our process by automating our process? Why not? All right. So like I said, the SharePoint is the backend. I created the SharePoint already. Okay. So if I click on that, so you can see here, this is our SharePoint page, and it is already reading the HSE webinar. All right. And you also have some call to action there. Register for your HSE training today. That on this alone, this is another training on its own entirely. You can create a page like this for your company for whatever reason, for different departments, and they can have everything in the cloud. You don't need to be at the office to access documents. All right, but that is not HSE. That is another thing entirely. Okay, so I've also been able to create in the SharePoint list or on the SharePoint, you can create a list just like an Excel file, and you can also create like a folder. It's just like creating your folder on your system, on your computer system. Okay, so I've created okay, so I've created a SharePoint list. As you can see here, this is a compliance tracker and reminder system. Now, what are we going to be doing here today? This is SharePoint now. Remember the tools we said we'll be using. I've showed you one. The other one is called Power Automate. Power Automate, I told you, is used for configuration. Okay, now I have configured, because if time might not permit us, if you have to start the configuration from the beginning here. So I have configured that already. I have created my SharePoint list. All we are trying to do now is tell the configuration, go and do this, and let us see whether it will do it or not. Okay, but if you will still entertain questions. All right, so my Power Automate is still loading. Okay. Okay, still saying that I should sign in. All right, let me just sign in. So, okay, I've been able to sign in. Now, let me go to my flow. Now, this might not necessarily be your job. I'm just trying to show you what developers go through to ensure, or let's say if you want to do some kind of any level process improvement in your company, this is more or less like this is what your IT will do. It doesn't have to, you don't have to do this yourself as an HSE officer. But if you are to be an HSE officer and you can't have a big advantage. Okay, so okay, the flows are still loading. So once the flow loads, okay, so this is my flow. Now, this flow that I created. Now, this flow that I created, I'm saying at every 8 o'clock in the morning, send out a reminder to a particular set of people, telling them whatever I need to tell them. That is an auto reminder. So I don't need to be there tomorrow 8 o'clock before this flow will run. At 8 o'clock in the morning, automatically it will send out an email to all those that are put in that list. Now, I've also created a group on our email Outlook, and I call that group HSE webinar. So I'm going to ask somebody on this call to give me maybe your Gmail, and I will add your Gmail to this group flow, and we'll test it and see whether you received the what is it called? The email notification or not. All right. So this is what the flow looks like. On a normal good day, you might not be concerned about all this, but let me test it with the present one that it was there and see if it is still running. Okay, so if it is still running, then I should receive an email with all those that I have in copy, giving us a certain information. So let me test the flow again. Test. I'm testing the flow now. So if this flow is still running, then I should receive an email in my inbox Okay, that email just dropped. Let me go to my inbox. I hope you can see my screen, please. Okay, so that email just dropped. You can see here, this email is 10/15/438. And it's saying, Dear Latif Quadri, your HSE inspection for your assigned role in line with your job description for the assigned task welding. So I have a job that welding that I need to do in a confined space on so date. So please be aware. Now, before you go for that welding, always ensure that your all the tools that are necessary are in place and certified by the HSE office. That is what this mail is talking about. Okay, so it can be anything. Now, like I told you, HSE webinar, that is the list. Now let's go and find that list and add somebody to that group. So Chinenye, can you give us somebody from the group or from those that are on this call that we can add to this flow? Okay. Okay, so I hope you understand the logic behind what we are trying to do. Okay, so we have 6 members in this. We have 6 members already. So I can add somebody else to that. Let me see if I can. Okay, so add member. So Chinenye, who are we adding? So the time is fast spent. Okay, so let me just meet my.
All right, thank you, Mr. Latif. We'll just pick oh, we have a lot of email addresses already dropped. So we'll just randomly pick one and work with that. So let's use joyomole.ux@gmail.com. joyomole.ux@gmail.com.
All right, so thank you very much. We are using Joy Omole Gmail address. So because Joy Omole is not within our tenant, we don't. She's a guest. All right. So please, Joy, when you get an invite to this group, please let us know when you get an invite to this group. Now, when you get an invite to this group, that means you automatically, when I run that flow again, you should be able to be part of that HSE webinar. So let's see if Joy will be added, because we have 6 members on that group already before. Let's see if Joy will be added to that group. Let me see. So this thing might take some time. So 1 member added already. So if I refresh, let me see if I will see Joy there. So if Joy is already in that group, whatever I do or send out, Joy will also be part of them. So this is more like, because time is fast spent, we might not be able to take everything today. Okay. But this is the way by which things can be done. All right. Now, this is the back end. I can have the front end. Maybe I have a Microsoft form, for example. I can fill the Microsoft form and tell the Microsoft form, whenever I fill the form, anything I fill, ensure that it goes into my back end. And once it drops into my back end, take a certain flow configuration or implement a certain flow configuration. So this is how everything works. All right. So I've been told we are because this is time, we are always time conscious in Lonadek. So I'll just go. I don't know if I can just go back to my presentation. But Joy, please let us know if you get the invite. All right. So we've been able to do this. Now this is the flow, the flow diagram of what we just did or what we just looked at. This is the way it is. Now I'm just putting these steps here for anybody that wants to copy this. Okay. Now this is where we are going. Now, what I wanted to do before now, I'm just looking at time now, was to create, using that same flow, I want to be able to tell my manager, my HSE manager, the actual thing that is going on site. How many compliance do we have? How many overdue inspections is out there? How many reminders have we sent? How many HSE officers are on the field? What is the maintenance level? By which department? Is it in HR? Is it in operations? Trend and breakdown. Which one has been completed? Which one is pending? Predictive insights. Which equipment needs maintenance, or which one will go bust in the next 2 minutes? These are the things I want my HSE officer to see. And I will use that same flow to design this. Now, what we are looking at now is the Power BI. Now we use SharePoint, we'll use Power Automate, and Power BI is to display graphics like this so that my HSE officer does not have to start calling my name and be asking me, where is my report? My report is in his front. He can check it anytime. Okay, so now, okay, I think that is the more we can take because of time. If you are still, there is need for any other thing, or from what we have said, you have questions, please let us know. This is time for question and answer. And I think the last part of it is just a call to action. We've said so many things today that we can do for you as a company. And now, this is another automation that we have done. If you fill this form, whatever you feel is going into the back end, it has been configured. So I don't need to start taking what you feel now or start cramming that somebody filled anything. All right. So we are just encouraging, or we are pleading, or should I say, I don't know the word to use. We are actually calling on you to engage us. This is our job. We want to be there for you. And I hope you are being able to enjoy what we've been able to offer in the last maybe 1 hour or so. So thank you very, very much. And we appreciate your staying here with us all through this time. So Chineye, you can take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Latif. Thank you for such an awesome presentation. I believe this has been as engaging as was valuable for all of us. I had a great time myself, and I can see so many comments in the chat box. Thank you so much. So we'll have a quick Q&A. If you have any questions from the 2 sessions that we've had, from this previous session, the AI for HSE compliance, and the previous one as well, please drop your questions. We want to know what inquiries you have and answer them accordingly. So we just go to the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen and drop your questions. Thank you so much. You can see all your awesome comments. And of course, we'll read some of them if time permits us. But I want to hear your questions, actually. If you have any clarifications needed, please let us know. That is why we're here, to make this training as valuable as possible. Okay, so we have from Anonymous, said, is Power BI in Microsoft 365? I think I can answer this. Yes, it is. Yes, Power BI comes as a feature of Microsoft 365 bundle. Okay, so someone says, what if you are working with external parties? Whoever asked this, please, would you make it clearer? What are you ascribing this to? so that we can pinpoint the question that you're asking and be able to answer accurately. Okay, we have, how do I get Power Automate? It is not part of Microsoft 365. Mr. Latif, please, could you give clarity to this question? I think a lot of people want to know if they could get Power Automate and all of that on Microsoft 365.
All right, so thank you very much, Ine. So the Power Automate should come as part of the bundle, depending on the licensing type that you have. All right, so they have different types of licenses. Okay, some do only SharePoint only, for example. Some say, well, I don't need any power. I just need a cloud-based environment where I can store and access my documents. So Microsoft will not force you to give you something you don't want. So depending on what you want, there are licenses and degrees of licenses that you can have to, if you need Power Automate so these are part of the things we can help you to get. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Latif. Unfortunately, that's all the questions that we can take for this session. We deeply apologize. So we have the call to action that Mr. Latif is going to place on his screen right now. Please, we need you to engage it so that we can engage further after this webinar. We'll be able to talk more, engage on other issues, receive inquiries, and that flows from this way. Please engage with it. Just engage QR code, fill the questions with the contact in the back end. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this webinar. People are asking, yes, the webinar. Yes, you will. Thank you so much, everybody. We see your comments, see your interactions and your engagement, and we are very, very grateful for taking out the time from your busy schedule to have this webinar with us, to spend this time with us, and to learn with us. Thank you so, so much. And we'll call it a day here. Thank you to all the Lonadek crew that made this happen. Thank you, Mr. Latif. Thank you to our IT at the back end, Chupemeka, Nancy. Thank you, Gochi. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.